What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of having a combate veteran, MMA fighter, gamer, pro gamer, esports superstar. He is, and we're keeping it spicy because I have the one and only Erik Ghostpepper Gonzalez. Erik, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, my brother? Happy Monday to you, bro. Monday vibes, Monday motivation, you know?
Yeah, motivating like a motherfucker. Yeah, man, because there's a lot of weird stuff going on. So we just gotta motivate the hell out of each other because it's weird. It's all weird.
Absolutely. I mean, you got the pandemic, so a lot of people are staying indoors. A lot of people don't want to work because they got those checks coming in, but that's already pretty much done with, as you know. July 1st, I believe it was. Or no, yeah, right. It was at the end of this
Yeah.
month that just passed. It was the last check everybody got for as far as unemployment. So I mean, I hope everybody's ready to start to try to find some work or is working again because I know I am. Even though I'm a fighter, I still have my day job to. Unfortunately, I'm not making enough funds through the fighting yet, but I got to do what I got to do.
No, absolutely, and that's the kind of interesting predicament a lot of people find themselves in the sense that, work in a traditional sense has kind of dried up one way or another. And people are exploring different opportunities, whether it be vlogging, podcasting, getting into gaming, professionally or semi-professionally, marketing themselves, building up their social media branding, things that they didn't have time to do before, but I mean it's all kind of crazy. I'm seeing people right now. I mean, TikTok, right, just got bought out by Microsoft, which is weird.
Yeah,
But I know a couple of people that have made some serious dough off of TikTok over the last 3 months.
yeah. TikTok has been a weird thing, and then I'm not sure if it's actually going to get banned. Did it actually get banned? Do you know if it did, or if it's on the works of getting banned? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a TikTok guy. I'm not a TikTok user. I know a bunch of people that are, and apparently, like you said, they're making money off of it, which just blows my mind. But maybe I should have got into the TikTok. But nah, man. I heard that it was going to get banned because I believe China was getting everybody's information, if I'm not mistaken. So it
Yeah,
was,
which is
you know, really weird.
yeah. Well, I mean, literally, when I woke up this morning, I was I got like stock updates and whatever, or buyer updates, and it was like TikTok to Microsoft, and The Rock buys the XFL from Vince McMahon, and I was just like,
Yeah, I
"Whoa,
saw that.
what are we
It,
doing?"
it was The Rock, and I think it was like some other company that they went in on together for $15 million, which is huge because I think XFL actually was going to shut down, right? If I'm not mistaken, because they didn't have the funding for it, and there wasn't enough. Pretty much, I'm assuming it was just enough funding, but that's pretty big, man. Knowing because you think about it, The Rock wanted to be a professional fighter or a professional, I'm sorry, football player, and then now he's going to own a huge company that involves nothing but pro football players. It's pretty weird, It's how the tables have turned for him, and it's really interesting to see all that stuff going on from that side of the world.
No, absolutely. You shoot for the moon, even if you fall short, you land among the stars. That's kind of it. And he kind of had iterations. He's played in the game plan. He played a football player, right? And then in Ballers, he's a former football player turned agent and what have you. And then outrightly, and this is kind of two ways about it. It's not just any football league. It's like one that was owned by, you know, Vince McMahon, his former employer. I mean,
Yeah.
not just his former employer, but somebody who employed his grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia, employed his dad, Rocky Johnson, who, along with Tony Atlas, first African American tag team in the WWFE,
Yep.
whatever you want to call it. And
Uh,
then now him, right? So it's like it's not just that he bought it, but he bought a brand that was basically owned by Vince McMahon, and he got a steep discount because, from what I was hearing, even in bankruptcy, Vince was trying to sell it for like 50 mil, something like that, or 60
oh
mil.
wow, I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
so he got it. He and the partnership that he's kind of involved with essentially got it for 15 million. So that's, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's huge.
high
It's
still,
huge.
but definitely lower than what it was. I mean,
Yeah,
even in February.
yeah, it's crazy. I didn't even know that. But it makes sense. They have a huge history, as we all know. The Rock and Vince McMahon. They go since way back. That's basically what essentially made The Rock famous. The WWE, WWF. And I used to watch that as a kid, and I loved it. So it's cool, man. It's we're a lot. I mean, we've aged so much now, and then to see all that is it to me, it's crazy, man. It's really cool, and I'm just glad. I mean, I don't know. I think WD was also considered an essential sport, right? From what I know,
Yeah, no,
down
absolutely.
in
The state of
Down in
Florida, I mean, they've never missed one taping, despite the fact that they had actual like positive COVID tests, and then like
Yeah,
their main guy, Roman Reigns, who's battling leukemia, like even as recently within the last 2 years, and is in remission, but like he's off of TV because he's refusing to work because like it's kind of a weird situation where people have positive tests and what have you. One of their reporters actually got it twice, Caleb
whoa,
Braxton. So it's like, yeah, and they had iterations of like, I mean, essentially WrestleMania, they're big to do and whatever. That was held at their performance center in Florida because Governor Ron DeSantis essentially said, "Yep, we want that money." And even though it was supposed to be I think it was supposed to be Tampa, they ended up doing it at their performance facility, a la like the UFC in
yeah,
Florida. So they got that exemption. So it's weird because like again, as you can see, we've got the California state title and like the NWA replica title.
yeah,
And somewhere in the middle, I fit in like pro wrestling, MMA, and whatever. So it's just like all of my words are kind of converging. And it's
yeah,
the only thing going, for any amount of months.
yeah. I believe I think it was Vince McMahon that did a hefty donation for the Trump, right? For Trump and also the state of Florida. So I believe that's why they made it essential, which is it's crazy, how what money can do for sport. Considering that UFC has been doing it. I'm pretty sure they've done something. I'm not entirely sure about the details of how they got it started, but it's pretty cool that what stuff everything with everything going on and like what money can do. We see it every day. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Linda McMahon, right? Vince McMahon's wife, uh, literally stepped away from her COO position in the mid 2000s to run for senator in their native state in Connecticut. Uh, lose Loses two Senate bids totaling $12 million of her own personal money, right? Donates
yeah.
three to the Trump campaign, and she ends up being the small business chairperson of the United States of America. I'm not making this up.
No, I know you're not. It's crazy, man. And then speaking of all that, you got all these crazy stuff going on too with the politicians and obviously the Jeffrey Epstein case. I haven't crazily kept up on it, but you see some of the posts that you see on the internet and all that stuff, and then sometimes you just get caught up reading it, and it's crazy, man. You look at I was looking at that Jeffrey Epstein log the other day of the flight log, and you see the amount of people and celebrities that go into that island is insane, man. And slowly uncovering, and then with the pandemic going on, it's almost like it's getting brushed off to the side in a way. And then you have pedophilia coming in now that's supposedly supposed to be some sort of it's going to be okay, or I guess what they want to call it, or they're going to consider it, or what is it called? I believe it's a sexual orientation or something like that. I forget exactly the words that I
Oh
saw.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
Greece already made it, and that Tom Hanks becomes some sort of citizen with his wife, and I'm just like, whoa, dude! Like, I don't even want to get sucked into that stuff just because the more you learn about it, the more you just like you're just in disbelief of the shit you read, and the shit you hear, and it's mind blowing, bro. It's really really mind blowing, and I'm just glad that I'm just gonna stick in my own lane and keep doing what I'm doing, man. Just train, and I think the way I see it is, you know, live your life, stay on your lane, make your money, and just stay focused. And you won't have to deal with any of that type of crap. Just make yourself successful, and the rest will come its way. As opposed to getting involved or just reading into that type of crazy stuff and making you angry or at unease as a regular person. And then you got the BLM and all that. That's crazy, man. It's like This has been by far the craziest year I've ever lived in, and for sure probably going to be the craziest year we'll ever. Well, I in my lifetime will probably live in, but who knows? Who knows how long we'll be alive for?
Yeah, it's weird, and shout out to Jesse Velasquez. He said, "Yeah, world is going wild right now," but that pedo shit unacceptable, 100%. Like it's weird. And then also like generational stuff. Like my wife's grandmother was like married at 14. During like the
Yeah,
Great Depression and whatever. So it's just like, oh, it's all weird, and we really start getting into stuff, and it's like,
yeah.
what are we doing?
Back in the day, I think most women were pregnant before they were even 18, and they have a ton of children. Like my grandma herself had what 6 kids and was having them at super young age. My mom herself had a kid. My older brother at the age of 16 had me at the age like 18. So it's like it's weird, because I feel like back then it wasn't really frowned upon. It is like it is now, where now it's just really weird, and I don't know, man. It's really hard to it's really hard to see all this stuff going on right now on with all that stuff, and I don't agree with it at all. I'm not a fan of it, and the more that they're trying to make it okay or whatever they're trying to make it, it's not going to be okay, and I hope that people just will never let that happen or allow it to be some sort of okayness to in anyone's eyes. It's not, it's people are sick, and if a pedophile ever comes near my child in the future, when I have a child, it's best guarantee he's gonna get his ass whooped for even looking at my kid the wrong way.
Yeah,
you know,
ditto there, man. Like totally, I'm with you there. But you mentioned about staying in your own lane and everything, and that's like, it's almost like recession, pandemic, or whatever proof, because obviously, in the instances of social media and what have you, you could still become successful in spite of all of the crazy stuff that is going on. And we just had, UFC this past weekend. I mean, one of the strangest cards in recent memory, probably the strangest card ever. There were supposed to be 12 cards, 12 fights on the card, and
yeah,
they all kind of just fell out. One fell out literally on the way. Trevin Giles literally fell out on his way
yeah.
to the octagon. But we
I
saw
saw.
somebody, yeah, but we saw somebody that you're pretty familiar with when Vince
Mhm.
Cachero stepped in 2 days' notice and
Yeah, that
fight.
was great
Yeah,
performance, by the way. He put his, and stepping up a weight class, which is huge. That's not an easy thing to do. I fought at 170 as an amateur, never as a pro, but tell you, man, that difference, that weight difference does make a difference. The muscle of the other guy makes a difference. And Vince stood in there and just kept taking shots, and I was really, really impressed with him. And I'm just, I can't wait to see him back in there at his own weight class where he's going to dominate for sure. There's no doubt about it. If you're taking hits from a 145er that's bigger than him, taller than him, then it goes to show that, Vince has a huge, huge, huge future in UFC. But we always knew that, man. If you know Vince Cachero, man, one of the hardest working guys I know, trains his ass off and keeps in shape and is always ready to fight. So I'm not surprised there at all that we saw the performance that we saw. And man, and that whole guy that passing out before fainting right before the fight was really bizarre. I hope he's okay. I wonder if it was the weight cut. It makes you ask a lot of questions. But I hope nothing but the best for him. I that Edmund Shabazian fight, very interesting fight. Brunson went in there and did work, man. He really shut him down, and I'm not honestly. I wasn't too surprised because Brunson's is a heavy hitter, good wrestler, and he did exactly what he needed to do. And Shabazian, Edmund is in my eyes, I've never seen him to have the best cardio, but he's a quick finisher. So, you could definitely tell that he has some cardio to work in there for his next fight. But, I mean, that guy's a very phenomenal fighter himself. So it's going to be interesting to see who he fights next. And because it's going to be a road to the top again, once you take a loss, you're 2 steps back. So now you got to work twice as hard. So, I mean, I'm sure it'll open his eyes for future fights. I really enjoyed that the Bobby Green fight. That was a really, really good fight, man. And I'm a huge Bobby Green fan. So, and the guy's his story, man, is really, really cool to hear, and definitely motivational story for any fighter, for any person, any man out there that's going through that struggle, because we're all going through something, whether it's whether someone sees it as not a problem, everybody has a limit and they know their own limitations. And I think that knowing and understanding who you are and the hardship that you're going through is only going to make you better, as opposed to just fighting it off and throwing it off to the side and never going through that pain and letting it make you grow. Like Bobby Green, it's a, like I said, man, very motivational guy.
No, 100%. And the cherry on top. I mean, he said in his post-fight interview, he came back from retirement, and he wanted to make a better life for him and his kids. He was hoping for that $50,000 bonus, which he ended up getting, so he could pay off his house and what have you. And it's just like, that's what you want to hear, and I mean, him and Jamal Emmers, right, our teammates,
Yep.
along with Darion Caldwell, right. So that pinnacle team, they went 2-0 on Saturday, which was really cool. Even though Vince lost, still a SoCal guy won, which is pretty cool.
Still a win-win almost, Nothing better than seeing a SoCal guy win, We have the best fighters out here and coaches, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be taking dubs home. But yeah, man, UFC's got it made, man, and it's crazy. They're actually putting shows every week right now, almost every week now, and let's hope that I get a call soon, to get my ass in there too, because I'm ready to fight and get in there and take that lightweight, whether it's a short notice or not, Definitely staying ready for anything to happen. And Combate, unfortunately, isn't putting any shows. They were delayed from what I hear. They were supposed to happen in August and September, and I was supposed to be on the September card, but because of whatever it's going on with their end, which I'm not too sure about, I didn't really ask questions. But I have been officially released as of now, so I'm looking to get into a short notice fight with either LFA or get me on UFC, man. Either way, I'll be ready because I mean, if you know me, man, I always bring a fight. I don't care who it is, so I'm just ready to get down. It's gonna be exciting stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess for everyone who knows you, I mean, the biggest platform that you fought in thus far is La Jaula in Combate America. Taking place in the seven man one night tournament type deal. But is that? I mean, you're pretty much done with your tenure with them at this moment, correct?
Yeah, correct. Right now, I am. Like I said, they don't have fights going on, man, and I have to stay active. I have to stay busy. I'm 28, and this fight game, we have a limited time duration of how long we can fight for, man. So if I plan to retire by whatever age, 35 through 40, somewhere in there, I got to make sure I get as many fights as I can, and I can't waste years. Or I can't waste the whole year not fighting. So to me, man, I just got to get in there and do what I got to do, whether it's with Combate or not. Even though I love them, they take care of me. They're a great company. They take care of their fighters. They're taking me to South America. Took me to Peru for that 8-man tournament, which unfortunately I didn't take the dub home, but I did take two wins home and made it to the finals. And it was a very exciting fight. But I would have loved to have that, and I did have a title fight with him as well, and a very close decision, lost to Rafa, and I believe he's also released from Combate too. Who's I'm not sure what his move is, but my only guess is either going to be UFC or Bellator. I mean, those are the the other promotions that are the top notch. UFC being the top, and I'm just I'm looking forward to see what the future brings. Maybe I'll meet Rafa in UFC again one day, and then we could settle that decision fight. So we'll see what happens, though. A lot can happen in the next year, and a lot can happen within the end of this year.
No, absolutely. And I mean, we've seen already thus far, especially in this kind of apex iteration of UFC, we've already seen Combate vets like John Sexy Mexi Castaneda. We saw former Combate champion Gustavo Lopez step in at different points of the, and I think even Sexy Mexi actually did a quick turnaround. He participated in the shows prior to COVID, prior to Fight Island, and then he came back around and fought again after Fight Island. So what has been your assessment of like those guys? I know you guys all fought for the same under the same promotional banner. What do you think about their kind of iterations in the UFC early on?
I mean, at this point, man, I mean, if you're getting a short notice for the big show, you got to take it, and I respect that, man. They take a short notices, and they don't care who it is, and they're both phenomenal fighters. Gustavo himself is he was a champ for a reason, and I know that he's going to come back, and he's going to come back wiser for his next fight. So I'm very looking. I'm a fan of him, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again, and nothing but respect for the guy, and the contract's there. You got your foot in, so it's your job now as a fighter to make your second foot go in, to make another door open, and just create more opportunities for yourself, because that's what this sport's about. You don't just get handouts; they're earned. And Gustavo and Sexy Mexi for sure earned those shots to have it. That short notice fight. And Sexy Mex is also one of my favorite fighters too. I've always gone along with him. I've always been super chill with him at the Combate events. We fought on multiple cards together, and we've always joked around. And it's good to see him in there, because that man is a very talented guy. And I know it's going to be a bright future for both of them, as long as they continue to do their work, and I know they will. Nothing but hard workers right there. I know Gustavo is one of the hardest working dudes. I always hear from everybody, and it's going to be exciting to see more of them in the UFC, and just more guys that are coming from Combate into the UFC. Because we have a lot of talent that is coming out of there and is with them currently. Including myself. So they definitely have a bright future ahead of them, man. Definitely.
No, absolutely. I mean, even Gustavo, actually, to kind of bring up the pro wrestling thing, when the Russian gentleman that he was fighting was taking him down, he kind of grabbed like a reverse headlock, and I swear, it looked like a tornado DDT, like a Chavo Guerrero
I
Jr.
remember that.
tornado DDT.
It looked
I
like
was like, oh damn,
dude. Yeah, I remember that. It is actually funny that you say that, because me and my boys were watching that event, and I was telling them how my buddy's going to be on it, and then he did that, and I swear to God, my buddy was like, "Dude, did he just fucking what is it called? You just said it right
tornado
now."
DDT.
Yeah, he's like, "Did you just DDT him?" And I was just like, "Oh, I hope not, because it's pretty illegal slamming their head on the ground like that." But nothing happened. It was cool, but it was funny to see when you see shit like that. In the crazy mix of the fight. You always have some crazy stuff going on in there. You see some bizarre exchanges, bizarre grappling, and sessions where you get in these weird entanglements with your legs or whatever. You're almost looking like two human pretzels put together. So it's always funny when you see stuff like happen like that. It's nothing but entertainment in MMA.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And along with Vince's performance, Jesse Velasquez says going up in a weight class in MMA is brutal. It's like going up 20 to 30 pounds. Not a good idea when you're getting hit, even when grappling. But impressed with Vince, even in a loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Vince was able to get up, even though he was getting taken down. He was able to get up. He was exchanging back with him. He was taking hits and walking through him, man. And like you said, 20, 30 pounds heavier. That guy's coming in at 145, and he's probably weighing in at 165 the next day. Just like Vince. Probably Vince weighing in at 145 probably blew up to like about, I'm gonna say like 160 max, because he's a 135er naturally. So it does make a huge toll, man. He makes a huge difference. And even after me, when I went at 155, I come in the next day, I walk 169 or 170. I gained about 15 pounds. So it's that makes a huge difference. But I feel that even though Vince went up a weight class, that fact that he had that extra bit of almost, I don't want to say fat, because it's not fat, but that extra bit of like just cushion on him makes the difference of you being able to take a hit. That's why I fight at 155 myself, because if I cut down to 145s, I'm more prone and more vulnerable to getting knocked out, possibly getting hurt easier. And at 155, I'm comfortable. I'm able to take shots. I'm able to just take those shots and be able to walk forward and do my thing at the same time and be able to process everything better. I fought at 145 one time for Combate for the Copa tournament for the qualifying fights against Andre Quintano. I had a horrible weight cut. Like, I wouldn't say horrible. The diet was amazing, but the last 7 pounds to cut to 45s, man, was horrid, man. Then that same day, I didn't get out of bed for about 2 hours. I had people hitting me up for tickets last minute, so I told them, it's all in the mailbox. Just leave the money in there. I can't walk right now. So 45s for me was it wasn't an easy cut. I mean, I felt good in there once I got in there, but I definitely didn't have that same sharpness and that same sharpness that I normally have to when it came to the grappling. I made a simple mistake and got caught, and that's what happens when you cut too much weight. You can make simple mistakes like that, and people will step on it if they're naturally at their weight class. So I think that Vince, even though he went up, man, he was able to take more damage and was more of a tank than he normally was. I feel like at 45s he he shines the most, but at the same time, I've never seen Vince take so much damage and just walk forward like a freaking machine. But that's Hawaiians, man. I feel like that's a Hawaiian thing. That's an islander in him. Guys are tough, man. You look at Max Holloway and all those dudes that are from the islands, and and these dudes are just taking the beatings and like nothing. And it's almost like the Mexicans. Mexicans take damage and they still walk forward. It's in their blood. It's in our blood, and it's really cool to see. And yeah, very stoked for him, man. But I cannot wait to see him again at his natural weight class.
No, it's going to be something to see, and in addition to all, 2 days notice fight and whatever, he was in the middle of a move. Like he was leaving California, going to Colorado, and it takes it, like it's just, to me, it's just testament to the guy.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you follow him on Instagram. He's like, well, back to reality. You see it on his Instagram post, and he's like, now I got to move everything into the house after fighting like a couple days ago, a few days ago. But that's Vince, man. That's Vince, man. He's awesome. And shout out to him, by the way, man. Great fight. And
yeah, man.
But what did you as far as speaking of UFC, what did you think about the Max Holloway fight that he had against I think it was Alex, right?
Yeah, Volkanovski. Okay, so here's the deal, and I'm part Fijian, so I'm partial to the Polynesians and Melanesians as well, right? So there aren't too many of us, right? So I honestly thought both instances, Max won.
Same.
Yeah. So with that all being said, Volkanovski almost took the I don't want to say entitlement, but definitely he almost took the Chris Weidman route of questioning after the two Anderson Silva fights. Obviously, Anderson Silva, one of the greatest of all time, right? Definitely in the top 5 of greatest middleweights of all time in all of MMA, right?
Absolutely.
And that first one, he got caught. That's no disputation, right? He got caught. Absolutely. He was clowning, whatever. That second one was a technicality, and the fact that Weidman was all like, oh, no, I've already, like he basically conquered, like he was the world beater, like, I beat the greatest of all time twice and whatever. And I'm like, one was a fluke, and then the other one was, him like Anderson Silva essentially beat Anderson Silva in that first fight. And, that, right. So with that being said, that's what Volkanovski did, right? And to me, already, Volkanovski, and again, he's from what is it, New Zealand and whatever. I had an aunt that lived in New Zealand for 30 years, right? Former rugby player. That's what we do, right? But he is the least entertaining guy there. Like he put me to sleep on Rogan's podcast when he was on. He put me to sleep also in all the embeddeds, and even the people around him were just like paint drying on balsa wood, and it's just like so frail. Like it was just so bad, right? So already you have a unengaging champion that essentially fluke victory 2 times, right? Definitely, and if you want to dispute the first one, definitely that second one, right? Everybody thinks that Max should be champion, and this is coming from a guy who was like, you know what? After Max and his weird weight cut and his interview with Bisbing and whatever, and I'm like, I never want to see that dude if there's trauma, head trauma or whatever, I never want to see him again. And I said the same thing with Tony Ferguson, and those two guys proved me wrong, and I have never been more happy to be more wrong, because those dudes literally put on performances of their career after that, right? So with that all being said, Volkanovski, I'm not a fan because he's not engaging. I'm a big believer in. I mean, I'm talking about you. You're a guy who, in your combate fight at the weigh-ins or whatever, you were throwing, like onions and Snickers and shit, right? So you're making the most out of your opportunity, right? You've got camera time, and there's so many, I guess, things that could occupy a person's time in terms of entertainment, sport. There's so many sports. There's so many everything. There's Netflix, Hulu, whatever, right? So if you've
Yeah,
got a pocket of that, right, you should do the best to make sure that you capitalize on it.
that's,
Voodoo Maximus, right, a guy that former UFMA champion. He's all like, don't give a shit about like when people ask you like, "Oh, what's your next fight?" Don't go to like, "Oh, I gotta ask my wife. I gotta ask my trainer." No, it's like call out the top 10 motherfuckers. Why
yeah,
not?
absolutely. Yeah,
You got
yeah, I agree. Well, that's the thing, man. The thing with fighters that don't understand, especially upcoming fighters, speaking to you guys, uh, you have to be entertaining, man. You have to be able to stand out. It's not just, yeah, you could be the, really good fighter in the ring and you could be dominating guys, but if you're not entertaining outside, then no one's going to keep an eye out for you. I think that the biggest example would be Mighty Mouse, man. One of the best in the game, bro. In the game, I absolutely love him, but the way you fight and the way you entertain people and the way you market yourself is completely different. I think that the Mighty Mouse could have been a way, way bigger asset to the UFC like McGregor. I think he could have been bigger than McGregor, in my opinion, because of how he is and how humble he is. But at the same time, because he's not able to entertain the crowd or that type of people where they want to engage with you and they want to follow you because you're so bizarre and you're so out there and you're so, and you're a top fighter. It's every all that has a toll, man. You have to, like I said, man, you got to be entertaining outside the ring as much as you are in the ring, and that's where it all begins. You got to market yourself, market yourself. And Dana says it all the time: if you can't market yourself, we can't work with you. You're not going to be an asset to us because no one's following you. No one wants to be around. No one wants to be like, hey, where's, example myself, like, oh, where's Ghostpepper been? It's not doing anything or has a boring social media or something like that. I try to be as I try to post as much as I can, but not overdoing it, on all across all platforms. And you have to do it, man. I like to run my mouth sometimes just for that, just for shits and giggles, just to stir a little pot, and get people riled up or get a fighter to call me out or something because that's what this game's about, man. We're here to fight people. We're here to fight other dudes. We're here to fight each other. Like if you can't make it entertaining at the same time before we step in the ring, then you should just be doing it, man. You should just keep doing what you're doing, but I guarantee you're not going to go anywhere with it. And UFC is not going to be looking at you because you're not bringing people to follow. You're not bringing followers, and that's what they care about. First, after the fact of you being a good fighter, you have to have the following to make yourself the best and be known out there in the world, not just in your state, not just in your city, but in every other state, across all U.S., even to South America. I think I've done a very good job as far as that kind of aspect, and that's why I have fans from Europe. I have fans from Southern America, and thanks to Combate for putting that platform and putting me on TV and putting me on a commentary on AXS TV. I have that following. I have people that like me because they see the way I am and how I engage with them, and I reply to people, and that's huge, man. All that makes a difference. All that makes a toll, and that actually will help your pay grade, believe it or not, because people want to see you. People want to, as much as you're a great and amazing fighter, people want that. They want to see that side of you. They don't want to just see, oh yeah, I'm here to fight, and then that's it. No, nobody likes that. Nobody likes a boring fighter or a boring person or a boring personality, and that's just the reality of it.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned, you talk up just for shits and giggles, but it's never good to giggle when you shit because that's weird. So weird.
I guess when you put it that way, huh?
Yeah. Or, I mean, if you're proud of yourself and your accomplishment, just say it, just anyway. But you were talking about, the boring fighter and what have you. I mean, a really good example, right? When Brock Lesnar came in and shoved DC, after DC had beat Stipe the first time, and Curtis Blades, right? Curtis Razor Blades goes like, "I'm next in line. I'm a great fighter," and blah blah blah. And Dana White straight out said, being a great fighter, great martial artist, all that'll do is be able to teach Taekwondo classes at the local strip mall. But if you want to be, if you want to be a fighter and you want to get those opportunities, which again, Dana White, he said, a spot in the UFC is not a career, it's an opportunity, right? You got to make the most of the opportunity. That's something that Daniel Cormier has done. That's something that Brock has done. That's, and it's something that unfortunately, you're probably going to get a lot of flack for doing and taking outside obligations from your coach, and trainer and what have you. But it's something that you can, if done right, be able to capitalize and turn to your benefit and make sure that whatever brand name that you are, I mean, you are essentially the CEO of your own brand name. So that makes sure that stock means a little bit more. People pay a
Yeah,
little bit more for it. So if
abs-
you've got fight shirts, you've got any outside endeavors, they're going to be like, "Yo, that we want you because we want you as the face of our brand."
exactly, exactly. I mean, you're selling yourself at the end of the day as a fighter. That's what social media creates. It's a free platform to sell yourself, and it's for people to see the other side of you, not just being a fighter. You see it all the time. Every single fighter has their own page and they have their own story and they have their own dilemmas, and that's how they share it. That's how they're able to show people, who they are inside, not just some brute animal, ready to kill each other. There's more to fighters than just those beating the crap out of each other. There's personality to it. There's a whole different side that people don't get to see, and it's like you said, man, it's your job to do that. You gotta do it yourself, and if you're not doing that, you're not going to make it very far into business. I guarantee that. And I mean, that's what I try to do every single day, especially with combate. I do weird stuff, and they've asked me to do some weird stuff, and it's working, and I've gotten a following from it, and it's continuing to grow, and it will continue to grow. I'm only 28, so I still got plenty of time, and I got plenty of fight time in me, and more stories to tell as time goes on.
That's no, that's excellent. And I mean, you're way yeah, I mean, wiser than your years kind of give you, because I mean, I was like, yeah, you're at least 30, right? Because just the amount of fight experience that you've had from amateur to pro, how long you've been in the game, who you've trained with and what have you. And it seems like you've been around longer than you have.
Yeah, with the experience, and I try to I learn a lot from other fighters, and or not just fighters but people that I follow. I try to follow people that are that have kind of a certain story or have a certain motivations that they do every single day, and I think that learning through other fighters and other people's mistakes that you see in the game, you can learn a lot and you can avoid those transitions into going into that horrible route of not being able to do anything with yourself. You see it every single day, every single fighter. You see their personalities after the fights or their interviews, and I think that that following people that are going to motivate you and have stories behind them as far as social media wise helps a lot in your path of how to learn and how to engage in certain situations that are put in front of you.
No, absolutely. Now, I mean, we got to give some light out. I mean, who are some of the people that you're following? Because obviously, there's a lot of people, that need some sort of motivation or
Mhm.
to overcome the things that are they're dealing with in their daily life. So, who is inspiring Ghostpepper right now?
Right now, there's this one dude that I follow, David Goggins. He's one of my favorites, and his story is probably one of the most motivational I hear. And the hardships that he went through, kind of similar to mine. Having an abusive father, and then mom leaving with the kids and working day in, day out, and then that stuff. David Goggins is one of the most motivational guys that I follow to this day, and every time I see his post, man, I just want to go out and go do something. I don't want to just be at home anymore. Like I'll be sitting at home, just chilling, finish my workout, whatever. I'm just chilling with my girlfriend. I see one of his posts, and I'm like, "Fuck, man, I should go for a run now." And then I'll just get up and go for a run. And that's important to have that for anybody, for any guy or any athlete, is to have one person or whatever amount of people that you have that will motivate you and get up. And I think that social media platform is huge too when you're following people that are motivate you like that. Uh, will create a difference in your mindset, your mentality, and the way you look at things.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Now, obviously, one of the stars out of this kind of, especially out of Fight Island, was a gentleman. again, making the most of his opportunity is Kamzat Chimaev. Literally, that
Oh
dude,
yeah.
evil Abe Lincoln, as I like to call him. And he's not evil or anything, but he just kind of looks like evil Abe Lincoln to me. With that all being said, I mean, this guy is stunning, TKO knockout in one fight, returns in a different weight class 10 days later, and essentially does the exact same thing, right?
Yep.
What I mean, what is your take on that guy? And like, did he surprise you in any way?
Hell yeah, man. He was like, I like to think of him as the heavier Khabib. The guy's a monster with the ground game, man. And I think that he has striking too, but because he just dominates so well on the ground, there's probably no need to keep it on the strike on the feet when you could just finish a guy super quick and live to fight another day that much faster. Uh, but that guy went from an overnight. That was an overnight sensation. I think a lot of people are doubting his abilities. I think that I see a lot of doubters after reading comments and seeing like the social media outlet. You see a lot of haters, man, on him already, and it's that means he's doing it right, man. If you get haters talking shit about you after your performances like that, they don't know shit about MMA. First of all, second of all, you're doing it right because you're getting a following, you're getting people to talk about you. They say there's no such thing as bad publicity. There's no bad publicity there at all. The guy's an outstanding fighter, and I think that he for sure will have be a future champ. It'll be interesting to see once how he reacts to like a top 10 contender. But I think that his level is really high above most guys in that division, and I think that he's going to go in there and dominate. Mark my words, he'll probably be like the top 10 within the next 6 months, in my opinion.
No, I agree, man. I love the guy. And, he was one of the ones because it looked like, the Fight Island card. Obviously, the UFC had six different, locations that they were shipping from. The US location was Las Vegas. You had Brazil. You had, there in the Middle East, UK, and what have you. But out of
Mhm.
those, like, non-North American, people that were fighting on the card, and there were a ton of them. The one who really stood out, head and shoulders above the rest, even above the headliners on the respective cards that he
Yeah,
fought on, was Chimaev, which is amazing to do.
yeah, and like it wasn't just like a. It wasn't just in his personality afterwards, man. He just wants to scrap. He's ready to fight. He's ready to take on anybody, and that's what people love, man. He went out there, dominated, literally dominated every single both the fighters he just fought. And I'm sure he's probably going to come back within the next month or so. My guess. There's no way he won't. I mean, he didn't get hurt. He literally just obliterated the dudes. There's no reason why he shouldn't come back quicker. So it's just going to be cool to see him back in there again. And I'm very excited. He definitely got a fan from me. I'm a fan of his, and it's going to be dope to watch him. I'm definitely going to be seeing how he trains, take up some pointers from him because dude he's just a phenomenal wrestler, very high level grappler, and I just want to I want to see his hands for sure. But I think that he reserves those, and I think that one day someone's going to think he doesn't have hands, and he's just probably going to knock him out with like a punch, and it'll be cool to see.
Yeah, man. It just kind of, wins across all, across the board, essentially, which I mean, I gotta ask, right? Because obviously you're essentially a free agent right now, and you're waiting for, or not waiting, but you're preparing for a potential short notice, fight, or the Contender Series is ramping back up, or what have you, right? So I don't have a crystal ball, but I've got a crystal clear bottle of water. If you're looking at this and you're going into what interesting fights there are for yourself in the UFC, what weight class would you like to fight in? And who would be an interesting first fight?
Um, you know, I won't get picky. I'm not gonna. I don't want to say any names. But I am gonna stick to my lightweight division. I'm working on picking up some more muscle because a lot of these lightweights are really big built guys. As far as muscle wise. Uh, so I kind of just working on that right now. But I did make a call out for that LFA title fight that just happened recently. I wanted to see if I could take the winner, comment it under the page. So I would like to have maybe a chance to do that if I possibly can against Logan. Maybe get he can defend his title, and I'll more be happy to oblige him with a good fight. And maybe get that LFA title under my belt. So then maybe get a call for the UFC stage. But if not, man, I'll go in there. I'll go into the contender series, and whoever they give me is who they want to give me. Uh, I would like to fight at 145 maybe one day, but I just don't know how my body will take it again, because the last time that I did that, like I said, man, I was hurting a lot the day that I cut the weight, and I wasn't happy at all. So, we'll see how I am and how I turn out. But I think that at this point, it's just safer bet just to stick to the lightweight division. Plus, plenty of competition there. That's why I said there's not really a name I could call out, because the lightweight division is so swamped with fighters that you literally don't. It doesn't even matter who you take. It's just be happy to have a fight in there, and then after that happens, man, that'll be once my foot is in there. I already know I'm going to show up, and I know I'm gonna get a finish, because that first fight is essential in how you perform, and I only see a finish coming my way. Whether it's a TKO or if it's a knockout, or submission, it doesn't matter. But I'll be ready regardless. I've already been ready, so I'm just waiting for the call and just staying active and staying ready. And I think that anybody they bring is just going to be a danger to themselves. So I'm just ready and hyped about it.
Dude, I'm hyped too, dude. I feel like I literally feel the energy, coming from you, So shout out to Goggins and whoever else that you're watching and listening to, because it's definitely working. Hell, shout out to one comediocre, the head honcho at Fight Science MMA, Ian Harris. You got to shout out that guy, because he's a mastermind. That guy.
Yeah, he is, man. He definitely is, and I'm more than blessed to have him on my corner. I've I went through a few gyms before I found a right home, and I think that Coach Ian was definitely the best decision I've ever made in my entire career. And I still have. That's why I'm 12-5 now as a pro, and I've never been finished. Besides the 2 submissions I've had, but I've never been knocked down. I've never been TKO'd. I've never been KO'd. And it's all part of his game plan, and following his steps, and following the way he teaches, and respecting everything that he does for me. I don't take a fight without his okay. I've never turned down a fight, but I definitely, if he says, you know what, let's not take this, I will more than happy to respect that, because I did make a wrong decision early in my career to take a short notice fight, and I ended up coming to a loss and went up a weight class. So that was when I was an amateur, and that was when I learned my lesson, because he had told me not to take the fight. He's like, this isn't a smart fight for you. Don't take it. And, it is what it is. And unfortunately, I didn't win that fight. And but I like I said, I learned a lot from it. And I learned from, my mistake. And Ian is definitely has the best intentions for all his fighters. And anybody that comes into Fight Science over in LA is you're lucky to have him as a coach, because he knows so much. Has so much knowledge to give, and all these key guys that are coming up and coming in our gym right now are getting really, really good. And I'm doing my best to help them with what I can, and Fight Science is going to be a gym to look at eventually. People will see that gym. It's a very, very brand new gym. It's barely over a year old, and I think that the noise that I'm making from my end is going to help a lot. And I think that once I get that call to go to the UFC, people will really know who Fight Science is and who Ian Harris is more, because Ian Harris has coached a ton of guys. He's been in so many guys' corners in the professional world and in UFC. He's been to UFC. He's coached in there. So he knows what it's like. He knows what I have to do, and he knows what it takes to be a champion. He knows what it takes to get us to that championship state of mind. So, he's the Mad Wiz, and big shout out to my coach for, always being there by my side and being there with us no matter what.
No, 100%. Yeah. Coach Ian, Coach Julian Rush. I mean, it's a studded, a small but star-studded kind of vibe that you get there at Fight Science there in Mid-City, LA. So, and in addition, I mean, if the fight stuff wasn't with you enough, I mean, he's a talented comedian. Literally 2 specials on Amazon Prime right now. The latest one, Extraordinary. So you got to check that out. And he's the voice of McDonald's. If you've seen a McDonald's commercial in the last year or so, it's Ian Harris's voice. Spoiler alert, So shout out to Ian for sure. Now, obviously, judging by your impeccable sound and audio, right? fighting is not the only thing that you've been able to stay ready for. It's a competitive sport of a different ilk that you've been getting into, especially during this quarantine. But even before that, it's something that Mighty Mouse Johnson has kind of got into and
Yeah.
made quite a bit of change. But you are a gamer, good sir.
Yeah, I'm actually involved with a company out in Vegas. They're called the Las Vegas Inferno. Uh, Esports world, they're involved in. They do a lot of competitions. They have a lot of stuff going on. Definitely highly check them out if you're into the gaming world. One of the best teams out here coming up and coming, I should say, because they're very brand new to the esports. But esports is also very brand new themselves. So there's a lot of stuff going on. From streaming to gaming. Competitive wise, I haven't competed since I did the Chipotle Warzone tournament for Call of Duty, and dude, that tournament was insane. It's so many talented guys in there that are gamers in there, and it's weird to always see you when you have like a 16-year-old kid kicking your ass in a video game. It's funny as hell. When I did the Fortnite tournament out in Vegas, I placed a second in one of the rounds, and I lost a 15-year-old kid at the end of the game. And I will make an excuse. I ran out of mats at the end of that, so I'm gonna blame it on that. But to see kids like that, and they're only getting better, and especially with now everything going on with the pandemic, kids have nothing but time to stay home and just game it up. Hopefully they get some exercise too and take care of themselves. But you see a lot of up and talented kids coming up, and a lot of dreamers and visualizers of wanting to make huge money and be known in the world of esports, because that's created a lot of opportunities for certain guys. You look at Ninja, one of the biggest streamers, competitors. Guy makes millions. He was on the front page of I forget what magazine it was. I think it was a sports magazine, if I'm not mistaken. And he was
Like
on the
Sports
front cover.
Illustrated or something like that.
Yeah. He was on the cover of it, a gamer. You know what I mean? That blows my mind, because because of esports. It's a huge thing, man. A lot of people don't. A lot of parents probably don't see it right now, but it's the gaming industry has grown so much. There's so much money involved in it, and a lot of kids are getting a lot of stuff out of it. I see it every single day. I talk to a lot of guys. They take care of all my graphics. Hyro, aka Glyphics, he's the one that runs Las Vegas Inferno, and I learned a lot from him, and he's teaching me a lot of stuff. And it's cool, man. Just dealing with all these guys that are really, really smart, and they know a lot of shit, and they're teaching me a lot of stuff too in the process. So it's cool, man. The esports world is awesome, and the community is awesome. I stream on Twitch, under Ghostpepper MMA, just like everything else that I have. I don't keep it different. It's fun, man. You get a lot of cool people that come into your chat. You're creating your own community essentially, and it takes time and it takes a lot of patience. And you're not going to get it in 1 week, 1 month. It's going to take months to a year, possibly more. So it's not just an overnight thing for sure.
No, absolutely. And I mean, it's crazy because colleges, you would think that, if colleges would have like I guess like an NCAA sanctioned deal, they would kind of maybe even invest in football or basketball, MMA. But like the new thing is actually colleges are giving 4-year rides for professional gamers, which is insane.
Well, yeah, you do get at I think in China, believe it's China. They have there's jobs out there for gamers where they're literally involved to they have to play, I believe, 10 to 12 hours a day before anything else. Like they get up, whatever, eat their breakfast, and then they game it for like straight 10 hours. And that's them practicing, and it's mandatory by the whatever promotion, not promotion, but whatever team they're on in their contract. It's pretty much states that they have to practice that many hours a day. So it's like, and they get paid for it on top of it. So it's like, when you're competing against guys like that are just fucking literally bred to do that. They're literally just live their life doing that, sleeping and waking up doing that. It's a tough competition out there in the game world, man. It's got crazy, crazy good. And, Overwatch is one of the biggest games as well. They have countries going against countries, and it's cool, man. It's really cool to watch, and a lot of people don't see that type of stuff on that side because they're not too heavily involved like I did myself. But yeah, man, it's really cool to see all these kids and all these guys that are going out there and making, aka like Ninja, making their dreams reality, man. Their kid's a multi-millionaire. I'm pretty sure getting close to the billion. Like I'm pretty sure he's getting close to the hundreds of millions of dollars where he's made. So it's really cool to see that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's no dream that's too big for sure. There's no doubt about that.
That is sick. I mean, now I'm not gonna be as rough on my 13-year-olds with the whole Fortnite and whatever.
Yeah,
Just saying. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, dude. I mean, a, a pretty long career in combat sports, and then obviously, your introductory to esports. I mean, obviously, there's a hell of a lot of people that got you to the dance, but I definitely want to allow you to kind of shout them out and any sponsors that you have. I mean, take this time. This is your time, my man.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the MMA world, I'm actually an ambassador for Ladder Sports, which is a protein kind of company. And if you guys ever need a discount on that, just hit me up, DM me. I'm more than happy to give you my code. I'm also sponsored by Vital Proteins. They're huge. They're always sending me products. A huge shout out to them. And my management team, Upgrade, Julian and Marcos Bonilla, both always taking care of me and doing anything that I need. They get me, man, and making stuff happen for me. As far as the gaming world, man, I got to shout out to the Las Vegas Inferno team out there. They're doing huge things and making stuff happen. And, they're helping me out with everything that I need. And I met them through streaming randomly when they just started watching me, and they liked how I was, and the fact that I'm an athlete just kind of made it even better for them. So we benefited each other. And so huge shout out to him and Hyro. Hyro was the guy that runs it, so he's really really nice guy, really cool dude, and really knowledgeable. Give him a shout out, especially if you're a gamer, man. Go talk to him. If you're good and you have a talent, go check out the team. You won't be fucking, they won't fuck you over in your career. They're looking out for these kids. They had a lot of kids that left them and they got screwed over afterwards, and then they tried to come back, but because they left us and they weren't loyal to us, they had you get the boot. It is what it is, and it's a business first before anything else. But huge shout out to all them and everything that's going on. To like I said, man, and huge shout out to my girlfriend, always supporting me, taking me to my gym. My team over at Fight Science, Ian Harris, all the boys out here, everybody, how to shout out to you for having me on here. Everybody's a huge part of my life that's involved in my life is, helps me in some sort of way or motivates me in some sort of way, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to keep rising above, and I'm going to definitely make my way to becoming the best fighter in the world and eventually a champ.
Damn right, dude. Which I don't know who isn't following you right now, right? Because you've got multiple. You're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're Instagram, Twitch. So for those who aren't inclined and haven't followed you already, where can they do that, good sir?
You guys can reach me on Instagram, Twitter. I do have a Facebook page for my fighter, and everything's under Ghostpepper MMA, unless it's my Facebook page. It's Erik Ghostpepper Gonzalez. But feel free to give me a follow. Feel free to shoot me a message. I always respond. So that's why that's part of part of the job in a way. It's responding to people that are taking time out of the day to shoot some love and shoot a shout out or to even talk to you. And then they always get surprised when you respond. Because I'm not a huge big time athlete where I'm like, the face, or people are like dying to meet me or anything like that. But, I always do the best I can to respond to everybody and anybody. So, always follow me, shoot me a follow, shoot me a DM. Like I said, Ghostpepper MMA all the way.
Damn right. And a bonus question, obviously professional fighter, gamer, but after you made weight, right? What's the go-to meal or what's the victory meal after a fight? 12-5 as a professional fighter. When you want to reward yourself, what is that cheat meal, good sir?
I usually go for a burger and fries, man. That's usually my go-to. I work at a restaurant, Islands restaurant. So most of the time, I usually go with my team afterwards and get a burger. Usually get a Hawaiian burger and then get some junior cheddar fries. It's all carved out, and then just pass out right after that. But that's definitely my go-to, man.
That sounds great. Fuck, I gotta do the Uber Eats or something in violence now. I'm hungry.
Oh, there you go.
Not that I need any more carbs. Shit, man. Good lord. Yeah. But dude, it's Ghostpepper MMA for those who haven't already followed him. But and he's holding a hairy anyway. Um
Just wanted to say hi.
it's a feline. Us in the British Commonwealth, we call it something completely different. Here in North America, you would refer to it in a woman's private parts. But I digress. We're not sexist here. But if you guys haven't already done so, follow Ghostpepper MMA on all of the social media streams. But Ghostpepper, dude, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. And hopefully, if it all works out, next time we'll be speaking to you, you will be a UFC fighter. So can't wait for that.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me again, brother. You have a blessed day. Have a great rest of your week, and I'm sure we'll be in contact throughout this week, anyways. We usually are. So, thanks for having me on here again, man. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, my brother. But this has been According to Lips with Erik Ghostpepper Gonzalez, and we are out. And I did weird things with my hands.